Tatis and Thomas having a little softer hand and lower rev rates. So that was kind of our plan. Didn't quite work out too well with me bowling on the fresh, but once the lanes get stretched out and there's a little more oil down lane, we really believe that Simonsen and Chris Vi can really take advantage of that. And wow, my forehead is big. Oh my God.
It's a 5-head.
Thank you, Phil.
Well, Anthony Simonsen gonna give up the first offering here as we get underway.
It's a pretty strong ball that Anthony Simonsen is throwing. It'll be interesting to see if that ball continues to carry throughout the entire match.
Anthony was using this ball early in his match against Stu Williams, ended up switching out of it, going into a ball that's a little cleaner, a little more angular down lane. We'll see if that will be the case again here.
Last night in his singles against Tom Doherty, Dom Barrett almost only 195. We'll surely see some improvement.
Tom making sure to take care of the 3-6-10. Taking it the hard way, as we call it. That's when a player is on the left-hand side of the 3-pin.
Don't want to try and underplay it. I just feel like you just need to go there and grip it and go. Things get think about.
You can hear Stu Kyle giving Tom some advice, just telling him to go to the whip, grip it, and rip it.
You can see there, I believe Anthony gave it just a little bit of loft. We've been noticing that the lane surface is hooking so early that you could see there he really didn't change much except just lofting it, which has stored a little more energy. And as you can see on the back half of the lane, it went to the pins much better. So that was a good adjustment from Anthony.
Simonsen putting it on Captain Dom Barrett in the early goings here. Let's see if Dom can figure this one out.
And you could see he went for the grip and rip that him and Stu were discussing. A big move left. I believe that was just a little wide of target. I think that was probably the right move, just a little miss to the right. He is the dominator.
Taking the words right out of Phil Yates' mouth.
And this is the kind of bowling that gets the crowd fired up and maybe gets Dom Barrett fired up. It was badly required.
Kyle, in your career, you've had a lot of success here lately on TV. Do you find that when you make a split like that, does it energize you a little bit?
Most definitely. Personally, I'm always looking for something to flip the switch. And, I could think back to a tournament I won last year. I split in the first frame and struck out. So, for me, I'm always looking for a little fire to be lit. And I know Simonsen, he fuels off of the fire. And I think just seeing how pumped up Europe got in the great game that they bowled last game, I think it was a perfect time to have Simonsen come out here, be a little nasty, so to speak, because he's got the fire in his eyes. So we feel very confident about him to slow the momentum of Europe after that great game that they bowled.
So far, Simonsen has done exactly that. 3 strikes on the board.
Looks like he split the difference there, Matt. Moved a little too far left. Probably cheated the move that he made. Split that back in half.
And that great power that Dom creates, it's one of the better ball rolls I think I've ever seen in my career. It just seems to open lanes up and put the strikes up on the board.
His tremendous touch as well. Very soft hand, very in key and touch with his release.
It took a second, but he got it there. Kyle through on his feet.
Well, watch the head pin come right across the deck. We call that one the bird dog back in the United States. And that just beheaded the 10-pin. Even Anthony was taken back by that shot. Big shot for Dom here. I feel he's got to keep pace with Anthony.
I'd say he's dialed in pretty good now. It'll just be interesting to see a 7 and an 8 count. You know, not only 2 spares, but losing the count with Simonsen having such a good look. It'll be a little difficult going down the stretch for Dom here. I feel like Simonsen's ball's probably not going to miss the pocket. But I might be just slightly biased as well.
He's a Texan based in Vegas. Can he hit the jackpot in frame 5?
Simonsen coming up with another strike in the 5th frame. That 6-pin just a little love tap there on the 10. Got it on out of it.
No, Matt, I always say if you slap the 10 out like that, that's a great executed shot off of your hand, speed control. Everything has to match up for the 6-pin to slap that 10 out like that.
Kyle, I always felt that's when I had the most room on me. That's when I had the best ball reaction. When I was creating that slap forward type reaction.
I may have learned that move from my father, Guppy Troop, a little bit. He might have won a few titles slapping the 10 out like that.
Well, slapping the 10 was definitely absent on the last shot for Dom. Very well executed ball, just getting ever so slightly behind the head pin. That's a term we commonly use over in the United States. You see the ball going a little too forward off the spot or not reacting soon enough.
Just going back to Kyle's father, there really is a Weather Cup connection there because Kyle and his father have both won PPO Tour events. Very few father and sons have done that. But of course, one of the father and sons who have, Pete and Dick Webber. And Dick Webber is the man who this event is named after. So, yeah, very suited to be here. You're perfect to be here, Kyle.
It's an honor to be here and join the greats in that category. I think the better shots for Simonsen are getting further to the right a little bit quicker because that strong ball, I think he's still got to throw it to the friction. And you see that one get to 4-5 a lot faster. Goes through the pins, no slapping 10s, no weak 7s, falling late. You know, he has a little bit of area though for sure.
And he's feeling it. He's firing on all 8 cylinders there, if you will. And, you know, I've always think that that's one of Anthony's biggest weapons is when he gets it going. It's almost unstoppable. Another great shot by Dom here. This ball drifting a little high.
And that could be the lane transitioning. You know, that one was a little left, and with Simonsen playing further left than Dom, I would almost anticipate Dom to make a small move left on his next shot because this lane breaks down in 2 to 3 frames. It is some of the quickest transitioning lanes we have probably seen all year long.
dream double is alive still. Remember, last year, he bowled 300. He's 7/10 of the way to doing it again.
Dom taking his time. He knows the situation is dire. Everything must be perfect. Needs to keep striking. One of his best of the match by far, Kyle. Just a sweet shot off his hand.
It's just matches of simple to what he likes to say.
Another step closer.
And there, that one was left. But I also think with Dom playing a little further right, playing a little more in the track area, 5 or 6 frames ago, that one was not going through the pins as well. So that also just shows how fast this lane transitions.
Well, we heard the voice of Tom Doherty say, "That's okay." And he read it perfectly. Dom not going away quietly. Still 264 possible for the Europeans.
It's been a good effort from Dom Barrett, hasn't it? But he's run into a buzzsaw.
He really has.
When the fire gets lit for Simonsen, it burns hot.
Yes, sir!
I'm not picking it out for that one. That messenger was a little bit slower, but hey, it still counts. All 10 pins down.
This shot locks up the match for Anthony Simonsen and sets up the stage for his second perfect game here at the Weber Cup. And really for Anthony Simonsen,
I believe Dom bowled very quickly that frame to get out of the way to give all the courtesy to Simonsen here.
absolutely for this young man, a measure of a lifetime of practice and dedication is going to be taken on this shot. He stands upon the precipice of having his second perfect game here on the Weber Cup lane.
Simonsen came within a pin of perfection.
And the crowd here up on their feet, deservedly so, for Anthony Simonsen.
And that's how we get the momentum back on our side, boys. We knew Simonsen was going to go out there and bowl a great game. That's why we have him here. Anytime we need to slow the momentum down, he's the man to step up and do the job.
Well, if Jesper is the Iceman, we're going to call Anthony the Cooler, as he has cooled down the run of the Europeans.
Well, match 13 this is in the Weber Cup, and that was just unlucky. This was just something else. We really thought that history was going to repeat itself. Anthony Simonsen in this individual environment is red hot.